So I'm doing these like retro indie, they're not retro, they're reviews of indie games that I'm still playing like 4 or 5 years later. And Risk of Rain 2 cropped up because I still go to it. It's a hell of a roguelike and really went through a lot of transformation as well with patches, updates. I got early access. It was a very good memory and I wanted to share it with you guys, but it got me thinking, by the way, I'm CouchCube. It got me thinking about the original that came out like 6 years ago. And then it got me thinking about originals of other games that have been sequeled, and I started to notice this pattern. The pattern coincides with a number of different things, and what we're looking at here is a situation where AAA producers of games or developers no longer really prioritize split screen and local co-op content because the industry has changed with the birth of easy internet access, and of course they want to sell as many machines as possible. What is the point of just having one Xbox in a household when you can have 2 or 3? But AAA's we'll get to. It's split screen and local co-op indie games that I'm interested in. And if you know the channel's content, it's a really cool area of focus if you're looking for games that fit that description. Now the 2 examples I've chosen on the indie game basis are Risk of Rain 1 and OlliOlli 2, which we'll get to in a second. But let's just go to Risk of Rain 1 really quickly. By the way, we've got a new character in Risk of Rain 2. Free with an update. He's an engineer guy, really interesting moveset, totally worth looking at if you haven't been back to the game for a while. Now, Risk of Rain 1 is the coolest, most unassuming, retro graphics, side-scrolling area without the building and just as much firepower in fast forward. So you're just really cruising around these open maps, getting powered up, layering on perks and buffs. It was the first time I saw that classic image of the actual perk that you've got and they stack up on screen in like a box, and then you go to a screen after you've played and you see all of the like 150 plus of different drops that could land in that level. That was half the fun of Risk of Rain, was getting OP in a different way every time you played. And of course it was a really tight little platformer with these tiny little RNGs on what world you'd get put in, and they would depend on what sort of enemies that you got pushed. But it was really cool because I can recognize all of this stuff from Risk of Rain 2. And if you've gone to Risk of Rain and think, why does everything look so weird? Why are there like Blue Panther people running around? Well, it's because they're lifted straight out from here, and that was endearing. It also had a really standout soundtrack for an indie of the time. It was very noticeable. It allowed it to very much stand out. Risk of Rain 2 could have easily have put a split screen mode in. You've only got to look at the Borderlands series or anything else with more graphical fidelity, even in the past, to realise how easy this is to do. And I feel a little bit betrayed. It's the first swindle because Risk of Rain 1 I think got very popular, A, because some streamers got hold of it, but B, it was a very solid couch co-op game. If you want to hear more about the ultimate betrayal, I know I spoke about Gearbox just then, and I am tempted to avoid them after taking Battleborn away from us, completely deleted it from history, didn't refund us, nothing. Details are in that video. Now I'm going to let a friend of ours, a streamer that does appear on the channel sometimes, not only informative, but relaxing, this guy, right?
Welcome to a game called OlliOlli, which is a 2D side-scrolling skateboard game where you have to do tricks, and the sickest of tricks that you have to do, not just normal tricks, sick tricks, bruh! And you gotta grind, and you gotta do pop shove-its and all that kind of stuff, so it's a 2D Skate 3 kind of thing. Not really, but it just came out and it looks really kind of cool, and I thought I'd play it, so...
A deserved 22 million subscribers for that gentleman. Now, I found a very old bit of footage 6 years ago. This is a 17-year-old in appropriate work attire pitching their new local co-op OlliOlli 2 game to PlayStation Access.
You'll be able to race each other. So it's who can basically get as many perfect grinds and perfect landings and not crash, get to the end of the level. We've got score, so it's who can get to 1 million first or 2 million. You set every setting yourselves.
Yeah. Here's the killer. It was absolutely brilliant. OlliOlli 2 was such a good local co-op and party game with that 4-player split, and just as they're talking about that thing in the middle, showing what everyone's up to, it was a hark back to some of the classics of the genre and games on older systems. I put it on a video that got to nearly 1 million views. I put it right in front of number 1. Did I hear anything back from Roll 7? Did I F?
HUD actually sort of interacts and shows you who's in the lead at any one time.
So after their unprecedented, absolute massive success with a brilliant local co-op skateboarding game, what are they going to do with the IP? Whack it online, take the local co-op off, get some microtransactions in there, boy. get that line going up on the Excel sheet. Don't worry about your legacy audience. Don't worry about the people that bought that game because they loved that local co-op. They can jog on because we have now moved up an echelon and we do online games. And they also just did a rollerblading game as well that came out. Again, would have been a great split screener. And that's the indie games covered that have really got to me. There are a bunch more. Housemarque went from being one of the best local co-op indie developers on the Sony side to a AAA studio. That was their journey. Maybe local co-op is just a stepping stone, something that you just get to your goal of being a bigger, larger scale developer. That's why I feel so strongly about the Borderlands series and Wonderlands, is because they are AAA and they are new. I know Randy's an idiot, but we've got to be thankful for some of that. Alright, here's the biggest swindle, and one I don't think I'll ever get over. The fact that the first 3 Halo games were the best split-screen shooters on the market, technically still are. Holy crap, these were the golden years. And that goddamn 343 not even been able to get their crap together enough to promise a split screen mode on the brand new Halo and then just not manage it. And then people with PCs finding the code and actually doing it themselves. What an embarrassment. What a friggin' embarrassment.
Cheers.
Then we've got games, this is Army of 2 by the way, and it's backwards compatible on the new Xboxes, that sold massive numbers because of their local co-op and just didn't bother being sequeled. This game was so damn good. Imagine a current gen version of this. And I think because we're swinging back to AAA territory now, we have to have that conversation about the numbers. There obviously isn't enough. However, here's the strange and slightly perverse good news. Fortnite added split screen, okay? Rocket League is one of the best-selling local co-op games on the market. They pissed me off because they went for PSN only. When that first came out, it was just like OlliOlli 2. It was like, look at this cool thing we've got. You can share it with up to 4 people. But that quickly swung into the dark side of micros. My God, we lost Rocket League. And this, Splinter Cell. These little maps that you got, they were so good. Working in tandem, taking these places out and slowly peeling away the onion was damn good. I mean, Far Cry wasn't on this level of sophistication with its physics and ammo types and guns and silencers. There should be like a studio, a bit like Limited Run or something, that reproduces these games again for us in current gen. Maybe gets permission from the developers, because I reckon the numbers would be amazing.
We could take the door on the ground floor or hit the second story windows.
What do you do then if you're a gamer in the current situation and you love a good bit of local co-op and split screen? You go and have a look at the top 25 and my whole back catalogue of 35 episodes of completely random current gen split screen games. I'll take you down there.